Good morning, everybody. Some wild stuff here going on. This thing with Merck, I'm not a big news follower, but I mean, I haven't heard anything about Merck and this Corona thing, and all of a sudden they have some cure or whatever it might be, but huge move in that stock. We shall see. I think coronavirus is too much of a good thing for certain, I guess, political venues. I don't know. I don't think it's going away, but anyway, pretty big reversal here in the markets. Formed this bottoming tail bar in the futures. It's been news for a year. Well, that shows you how far behind I am, McGraw. So I don't know. I guess I'm up there or alongside a Sleepy Joe because, and whoever else realized it, because now the stock's gapping up huge above this consolidation has been doing nothing. Anyway, here we are. But, technically, the expectation I thought was lower today, down toward this support level in the futures, somewhere around there, and a bounce. What we look for, greater than 100% retracement. To take out the low, go down somewhere closer to here. And when we look at candles, we see these tails, or some call them wicks. But here's the close on the daily chart. Anyway, it closed down there. Intraday, obviously, it went down there, but on the daily chart, it closed over here. And that would have been the area to look for, and 4250 on the futures, whole number, so on and so forth. Anyway, this weekly chart, I don't think it's going to turn into a bottoming tail at the end of the day. That would be like a miracle. But I think we shall see. Things are correcting here a little bit already. On the 5-minute, made a new high and came right back in again. We see buyers stepping up again, but stall in the move up. And right here at the pivot high, and we always look to the left. There it is. It stalled right there. And but we got a wide range bar after a breakdown failure. So as technical traders, price readers, MTS and so on, news aside, it was a setup to be thinking on a long. Not, it wouldn't be, the expectation wouldn't have been to have this move. It was news driven, but it definitely had the void, the downside and the downside shakeout, the bullish consolidation, and even this little up bar there and sideways. So great pattern for those of you that aren't aware of what we look at as part of MTS. I suggest printing out that chart and make a couple of notes on it as to void, shakeout, and bullish, consolidation at resistance, red bars ignored, and this little sideways move right there. I mean, that was just, right out of the textbook. So 100 MA, a little bit up above there, subjective reference point, but you can see that my cursor there, a horizontal line that lines up. When I go to the daily chart, you can see it on the hourly. It's right there at that swing high. So I think that's a pretty good reference point for an upside target, short term anyway, for it to stall, give or take. And could go back down to the lows. We'll see, what Merck has to do with inflation and all the debt ceiling and the day-to-day drama that's going on. I don't think so. So I don't think this is over, but just based on the seasonal tendency of, September, October, the typical pattern is one in which prices go down. At some point within this 2 months, you do get a rally, and sometimes it is sizable. So this might be the start of it. And then sometime in October, it's going to roll back over again, and where it sets the low for the end of year rally. So it's still the intermediate term bias for things to play out, and we'll see what actually happens. Right? So SPX, let me look at spiders here first. And so closing on the low, man, news, schizo market certainly looked like it would gap down today. Day before yesterday was the expectation of, the wide range bar, and then the consolidation day, and that followed through yesterday, and it held the support. And so, a move down into this downside area here today would have made sense, but nope. Market had other plans and this Merck thing. So we see the same little upside move as we see on the futures and the bounce here. So SPX, interesting. I don't know what these quotes are, it's pre-market here and they'll change at the open. But the downside premium was tremendous. Expectation was it was going to go down today, and the premiums were, jigged up for that. So just based on what they're at here pre-market, no brainer. So they're going to open up. Just let me go back here a second. Spiders. Right, they could just pop back up there. You don't know between now and the open. So, 430. Really not that big a deal on the gap up. The fact is that it went down. Right. So, this gap up isn't really that big of a deal. As far as it opening up there, and if it can't advance much more in the first 20, 30 minutes, it could roll right back over and go back down to the low. So, it's not like it's gapping way up here where you've got such a huge amount of room before it could go test the low of the day. All right, so I'm just looking at the bar there. Yeah, Pete, that's a decent start, but it's an up open as far as being above yesterday's close, but how far above yesterday's close is a key factor. And is it taking out any resistance? So this gap up isn't taking out this prior swing high. And so it's got, some resistance right there. And the next level is right here, which is still below yesterday's high. So as we go to SPX and pick a no-brainer, well, I think 4,400 is a no-brainer. It's got to clear this area here. It's a whole number. And I mean, between the high and there, yeah, you can get more. You can get more premium, but for it to, rally all the way back up and get through that high today and up to 4,400 and stay there, that's going to take, something special, right? Which would make, opening in this area where my dot is and rallying all the way up there to close up there. I say good luck. That would be an amazing feat today, and turning this red bar all the way, into like a bottoming tail bar. We'll see. We got to have a bias and pick something. Now, on the downside, as I said, I don't know that the premiums are going to be there, but it's opening here, and you can go all the way down to 42.25. I think that is highly unlikely. And if we look down there, look to the left. There's a pivot low down there. So you can go a bit higher. So again, we look at these credit spread ideas, and whether it's SPX or anything else, and see where things are trading. And look at the trend, look to the left, look at multiple time frames and say, what is the probability of prices going to this level or that level? Now with SPX, the premiums are big enough, whereas on many other things, you can't get that far away. So I think either side here, and you could always do the iron condor thing, and 4,400, down here, I don't think it's going to either place. All right, other markets. So bottoming tail bar within the context of this move makes sense. Came down to the prior low to the left there. It's at resistance. So this little bullish move just got stalled at the first reference point. And not very impressive, but sure makes sense for at least a technical bounce after a greater than 100% retracement and move down here. Russell just whipping back and forth. Odds are, if we didn't have this news, it would have come down here and then bounced today. But now we got this bounce underway. Same 5-minute pattern or similar to it what we saw elsewhere. The Dow, big bottoming tail bar. I mean, it's like frustrating, but I guess a little disappointing because this would have been the expectation for today. I think just based on yesterday's price action, that prices would have went down like this and could have ended the day, something like that there would have been a rally. And now, like the move is done other than whatever might be created. Internals, we looked at them yesterday morning and they're not great, Deb, right? Meaning, so today's going to skew things a bit. I mean, there are what they are, but we'll see where today ends if things sells back off again. I was getting hopeful that because sentiment was becoming more bearish, which is bullish, that prices would continue down. And that might just be the case of we get a little rally. And then, later in the month, it goes back down again. And I mean, I would just love to see sentiment get down here at this 1.2 and, breadth, we'll just see what it does. But it's neutral at this point. So no, we don't have a buy signal, and, right here, we had a little, at the time I wrote and made in the videos of the weekend letter, a weak buy signal. And the expectation was it would roll over when it got into this area. And that's what happened. But we eventually want to see it come lower and these line up to where, we have a historical great buy signal for the end of the year. So we want the buy signal, we want the pattern, we want the seasonality, and we want it all. And Bitcoin. Yesterday, we looked at the potential, this retest pattern turning around, and I don't know if this has to do with anything as far as if it has anything to do with this market news, but there it goes. And it blasted right through the swing high and up to the next resistance. The odds are it's not going much further today. Range expansion bar, average range, resistance average range about as big as it gets. So I wouldn't look for much more there. Maybe it retraces a bit. Stalled. Crude oil is stalled up there. Makes sense. Had a nice move. Right? Nice momentum. Buyers aren't going away. Not based on this kind of price action. Gold moving up here today. Big bar. On a closing basis, it came down to that close. Maybe this was just a odd day, but just looking to the left there, it was a turn. And so we'll see how this shapes up. And of course, that helps silver, which now we've got a little breakdown failure going on here. So one of the things I mentioned was when this looks so nasty under here, and we're looking at SLV in the green room, it's like, well, someone was long silver. And I said, well, good luck, but could it be turn this out to be a breakdown failure? And lo and behold, I guess that person said a few prayers and that's what happened, was a breakdown failure. So that looks like it's made a bottom, and we've got the transports to look at. You could sell a SLV, sell a put, McGraw. I think it's a good idea. I don't know the premiums and how far away, but yeah, I think so. And wide range bar, so that's kind of nasty, but you know, down bar, range expansion bar into a prior low. If it had gapped down this morning, it would have been a gift for a short-term reversal. And now, like, someone took our gift away with this opening. So I'll be just sitting on my hands here at the open to see how things shape up here, whether they roll back over again or whether they go sideways here. There's a little, crumbs left on the table, so to speak, if it could rally up to the next resistance. So, and if it breaks below this low, this isn't an uptrend now. As I look at the 5-minute, this is up, and just turning this over to a day chart, which is what I'm going to look at, just like looking at the spiders, is that this 431, it's kind of opening up in a no man's land in a sense. This being the day chart, and this is what's happening now. It's gapping up here, and it really could go either way. So it's got to build or create new support. You might say, well, what does that mean? Well, the current day starts trading, right? We got the pre-market, so we know a little bit about some support and resistance, which isn't very big, but opening up here, so after whatever, even 10, 15 minutes, even on a 2-minute chart, it'll go down, it'll go up, it'll create some new information to initiate or start some type of a bias based on what's occurring after 9:30. So, all right, that's about it for me. I hope that helps. Have a great weekend, those of you on YouTube, and let's see what today brings. All yours, Dan.
All right, happy zero DTE day. Very light on earnings trade.
Dan must be getting his coffee. He'll be with us in a second. That's what we do here, David, on YouTube. We teach every day. We offer information for the day's bias, and we teach. We share what we've learned over these years. Dan and I are like the rest of you guys. We started out, Dan's a big brain, but I started out knowing absolutely nothing. So after a long journey of trial and error and the pitfalls of the indicator-based methodology and all the other craziness, the fibs and all that, it's like, hey, simple, keep it simple. It works. Look to the left.
And just kind of to add to something there's a lot of times this week where we said we're sitting on our hands. It's just chop, 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 chop. I mean, yesterday had a nice 30-minute low breakdown. Spiders, diamonds were both nice 1, 2, 3s for day trades. So yeah, happy zero DTE day. We'll play it by ear like we do every day. All right, all our opens are fine with one exception, coin. Today's Friday, so on Wednesday, it triggered our short right into the close. Look at that. Right there. It got us. Gapped up, retest, would not take out the low with the market, bullish gap. So we'll start with 30-minute high, even though it's yeah, it is gapping over the stop actually. So that's the only one we'll keep an eye on. And Craig showed you Bitcoin. So as always, we'll keep an eye on the usual suspects. Riot, in a downtrend. It's a gap. It's a bullish gap and a downtrend. This one I like better. This one is interesting. All right, so I'm going to put Mara here. Ether is an ETF. You know, I don't know why there's an ETF for Ether and there's not one for Bitcoin. Well, I know there's not one for Bitcoin because the SEC will not allow it. So my question is, well, then why the heck they allow it on Ether? Someone needs to explain that to me. Block here is another one. 46. And this one has options, so we'll keep an eye on it. I still like Mara better because it's above the 200. VITW is one. No, I like Mara the best. Mr. MSTR is one. 615. Maybe put spread 30-minute high, we'll see. And then Square, you kind of moves with Bitcoin also. All right, let's see what else is on the interest list. Jeffries had earnings. Hey, Robert. JEF. It's in an uptrend, weekly, monthly, kind of trading range here daily. No, I don't see much. Greg mentioned the switch yesterday as a sell setup. SPWR, nice gap breakout. I have that in the bottom right here. It's being added to one of the indexes, kicking somebody out, and that creates, just by definition, it creates demand for funds that track that index. Merck, Greg mentioned, yeah, I didn't read the news, but it's definitely Corona related. Wow, it's gapping over this prior weekly pivot. Look at that. That's a big gap for a big, thick pharmaceutical company. Wow. Teradyne, Greg mentioned yesterday, is a 1, 2, 3. Breakdown daily, weekly. It's kind of far from the 20, but you know, it's not bouncing here with the market, so it's still a relative weakness. TWOW, I like this one better. Maybe 30-minute low. It has this prior low, obviously, but it's breaking down from, I mean, count those 7, 8 bars. TWOW. PSMT, nice wide range breakdown there. Found that while scanning yesterday, the WRB scan. You know, I'm starting to put together some slides for an upcoming MT Live on moving average analysis. And this is kind of a nice one. The 20 and the 50 are telling a nice story here. If you were to remove the candles, you can make some intelligent decisions. So if they're 20 and 50, and then you throw the candles on, and it just makes it that much easier. So that looks lower. We still have Goldman, half of a call spread, looks fine. Disney, we took our money yesterday. CAT, we still have half, both a directional and a call spread. So that looks fine. Austin's asking about HUT. Really, I didn't know that was related to that. But good to know. I'll look it up later and see what they do. Diego asking about Microsoft short. Here's another one. Trex, we scanned yesterday. The XHB had a nasty crack, and XRT retail just got slammed yesterday. Remember, Bed Bath and Beyond lost 25% of its market cap. KSS had a nasty day. TJX, so many damaged charts. Snow, yeah, we were looking at snow yesterday as a put spread. As a 1 DTE. Over today's high, sure. Oh, you did get filled? Well, then good. Then good. You got a profitable trade on your hands. All right, back to Diego, Microsoft, day trade short. Sure. That's a continuation pattern from a 1, 2, 3. And it's gap into yesterday's low, so relative weakness. So sure. Qs here. How much are they up? 358. 358.68. So right there. So not much, like 25% days range. So yeah, I still have a bearish bias unless they take out a 30-minute. I think my bias today, well, I don't know about 30-minute high, because if it's 30-minute high and still has all this resistance, that's not going to make me bullish. But 30-minute low, yes. What's up with Netflix? We actually have a put spread on him. Pre-market is weak. I've tightened the stop. But Neil, in terms of what's up with it, I have no idea. Facebook trading range in the 15. Yeah, Facebook, they had to testify yesterday in front of Congress about their desire to market to kids. Look at Walgreens. This would be a great 1, 2, 3. It's gapping here to yesterday's low. If we get an inside bar, short that on Monday. But it's still gonna be a day trade, 30-minute low. Looks good. Alley, wide range breakdown. This was in the housing sector too. So look at a nice sell setup right here, 180 reversal. That was your entry right. That was your entry right there under the red bar. But now the gap's messing it up. Golf Lima, that's a sell setup. Hear that? That's a 4-bar turn. Weekly's kind of extended, but I'm going to set an alarm on that. That looks good. Actually, I'm going to put it in a window. Golf Lima. Wow, tick 1,300. Wow. I would not have expected that with kind of with a moderate gap, but not a huge one. Golf Lima, I'm going to set an alarm. Yeah, it's very light volume, I can tell. Like it's not even moving.